Hey, what's up, guys? Bajheera here. Man, oh man, we made it all the way to level 70. TBC Classic has been so much fun. We got my character pretty much going from like level 20 plus in like around Thanksgiving, and we've been playing mostly TBC ever since. And like last Thursday, on the 5th, TBC released its full content, and ever since we've been hammering. Got level 70, not yesterday, but the day before. And so we're like one dungeon session at level 70 so far worth of gear. And what I'd like to do is show you guys the specs that I've been playing. We've been playing a combination of Fury for DPS, and we're actually even playing Prot for tanking, because that helps keep those dungeons going, man. I leveled mostly with dungeons, by the way. I like doing dungeons in this, just blasting, getting good gear, getting good rep, kind of getting yourself positioned to be, you know, right up to honored, so that you can do a quest, then you're honored, and then you can do the higher level dungeons all the way to revered and exalted, is what we've been doing. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys a look at my spec, my gear, probably some macros. People are always asking about add-ons and stuff, so happy to talk about some of the add-ons as well. But we're live on stream too, so we're gonna knock out the sort of update video, and then we'll dive into some dungeons. But without further ado, let's talk about what I'm doing with my spec. So, I'm going to start off with a Prot spec, because I've actually been having a lot of fun tanking. Not only does it keep the dungeons rolling while leveling, I think it also is going to make it really easy to find heroic groups, which are, I think, one of the main things you're going to be doing daily in TBC is logging in and knocking out heroics. Doing your like actual quest heroics, and then just blasting for particular pieces of gear that you want, as well as badges of justice. And we're going to need the primal nethers to craft our deep thunder for PvP. So we got a lot of stuff to do, and I think tanking is going to be one of those things that enables it. So you used to do kind of like a Fury Prot thing in classic WoW, but I think for TBC you actually have to really mean business with your actual Prot spec. So I think a lot of what I do with the actual Prot side of the tree is the same. I just wanted to mention briefly that before this I was playing a spec that was like 5 points cruelty, 5 points improved demo shout, 1 point commanding presence, 3 points blood craze, even 1 point piercing howl, and then 4 points in enrage. This was before, you know, we had very much gear, but it was kind of fun whenever you got crit by a mob. It would enrage you and make it a little ticking heal. As time has gone on though, I wanted to try more thunderclap to see if it helps with threat. I wanted to try deep wounds. I love deep wounds, and impale sounds really fun for some big shield slams and threat generation, as well as giving you some anger management over time. But anyway, this is what I'm looking at right now. Just on the arm side of things, 5 points parry, 3 points improved heroic strike, 3 points improved thunderclap, 1 point anger management, 3 in deep wounds, 2 in impale, and then we have 3 points in cruelty, because that's just what we have left over. It is nice to have some crit. You do want enough crit to make deep wounds and impale work. So I have 2 different sets for tanking, which I'll show in a second. But anyway, for the big stuff, for the Prot tree, I'm actually not using Tactical Mastery. I've noticed it's kind of like Fury, where you just don't get out of D-stance. So you actually don't need Tactical Mastery, and you're not pressing Bloodthirst or Mortal Strike for threat. Like, it's just not what you're doing. So I just put 5 points in the defense, 5 points in the armor, 5 points in shield specialization with improved shield block. Last Stand is a nice defensive cooldown to buff your HP up. Kind of a long CD, but not as long as Shield Wall, so that's nice. Defiance, just a whole bunch more threat and expertise, which is cool. Improved Sunder Armor, like that's one of the main things that you do as a Prot warrior tank, is you're sundering for your team. I'm running a lot of melee cleaves, surprise, surprise, and just ripping armor off of enemies is awesome for your teammates. I went ahead and put a point in Improved Taunt. You need to put a point somewhere to get down further along. I've seen some builds do Improved Shield Wall. I mean, maybe this is cool for raid, but for heroics or in dungeons, I think the main thing that I am struggling with is, like, it's not like we're having like an impossible time. It's just like I press taunt a lot more than I press shield wall, and I'm trying to get mobs to get back on me a lot more frequently than I'm like trying to save the raid with shield wall. So I think this is fine. Concussing blow is kind of a fun on-demand stun. I'm actually experimenting with shield mastery. Increases the amount of damage absorbed by your shield. A lot of what warrior does is based around block and taking less damage behind a block. So I'm going to try shield mastery to reduce the damage that I take on block. I don't think that we're struggling with tankiness, but I also was thinking about improved D-stance. Reducing all spell damage taken while in D-stance by 6% seems kind of cool. But I took the points basically out of Focus Rage. I like Focus Rage a lot, but we also have reduced rage cost on Thunderclap and reduced rage cost on Heroic Strike. So like Revenge will cost a teeny bit more rage. It'll cost like a whole 5 rage. Shield Slam will cost a bit more rage. We should be okay though. We should be alright. Especially once we have anger management ticking. I think it evens out, so I can put more points in something defensive. And we also have 5 points in vitality, big stamina and strength gains. And then good old Devastate. Sunder armor that does damage and does more damage depending on how much stacks you have of Sunder. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's my Prot stuff. Let me talk about Fury a little bit real quick. We're going to talk about both. And I will make an arms PvP setup too, but we're not doing a lot of PvP quite yet, and that video I think already exists on YouTube, and I don't think I'm going to change a whole lot. But I guess if I was going to go arms, it would be deep arms, and I would just be going probably Cruelty, Booming Voice, 1, 3, 1, and then probably 2 more points in Enrage for that build. But there are like a bunch of builds that you could play for arms, so that's going to be its own video for arms PvP specs. But anyway, for my Fury spec, I pretty much just left all of this the same because I wanted to keep the 2 points in Impale, the 3 points in Deep Wounds, and in order to do that, we kind of went this route. I mean, I guess instead of Deflection, you probably could have put, like, some points in Improved Thunderclap or something like that, just to help your group out a little bit more. That would probably be fine instead of 5 points in Deflection for Fury, but something to think about. This side of things, though, we kept everything the same. 5 points Cruelty, Unbridled Wrath for some more rage when you hit stuff. Nice big commanding shout for or battle shout for the group, mostly battle shout for the group. Dual wield spec because we were dual wielding, that felt pretty good. In rage, of course, I took 2 points in weapon mastery, so disarms are reduced and you have expertise basically, just less chance to be dodged. Doesn't affect parry, but whatever. Flurry is like really fun, proccing attack speed off of crits. Sweeping strikes, so nice to have sweeping strikes in these dungeons. I mean, like, if you've been playing Fury, you know Fury shreds. It owns. And as tanking for Fury warriors, it's like, yeah, like it's tough, but paladins help with Blessing of Salve. Bloodthirst into Rampage. So we had Bloodthirst before, then we put points in Improved Whirlwind, then we put all of our points into Improved Berserker Stance as we leveled up, and then once we hit that little point where we could, I went ahead and grabbed Rampage, and then I put 3 points in Precision, leaving these talents alone, basically. What I will do eventually is I will probably take a point out of Rampage, I will take 3 points out of Precision, I'll put 1 point here, maybe 2 points in Improved Thunderclap or something, just to, I don't know, but 2 points in Iron Will, just get points somewhere so you can take Death Wish. And then it just feels kind of bad that you're taking 3 points in the arms tree that just don't really feel good. They don't really do anything, just to get Death Wish, which is kind of worth it though. But right now, I'm just leaving it alone. It feels nice to have the extra attack power. It feels nice to have the extra hit. I think Death Wish is probably better, but it's the same thing as like, this feels good to use it, so I'm just going to do that for now. And not have to spend another 30 gold to respec. I did spend 30 gold to respec my Prot thing, but I was noticing I wasn't having very high in rage uptime. And I was like, you know, this sounds fun. Thunderclap more often. I love Deep Wounds. I mean, Deep Wounds is just a quality of life talent. It just makes all your crits do like a little squelchy noise and like pop up like a tiny little blood splatter on the enemies. Like, it's just too good. But the parry makes sense. Heroic Strike makes sense. Anger management makes sense. It's just good stuff. So that's what I'm doing with my 2 builds at the moment. The Prot build, the Fury build. Those feel both really fun. In terms of my gear, I can take a look. So we have, obviously, as you would expect, a couple sets here. The first thing that we have right now is my Prot set that is a little bit more damage oriented. We have a higher hit chance. We have much higher crit chance. My defense is still 400. Block is like 12%, so. But the reason for that is so we can make use of Deep Wounds and Impale, right? You don't want to be like specking into crit damage and then not have any crit. So what I have for that is, this is gear that we've gotten, again, from like 1 session of doing dungeons at 70. We went in and bought the Savage Plate Helmet. This was from Honor Hold Honored. So, again, if you had done a bunch of Honored Hold dungeons to Friendly in 5999, and then did a quest, you'd get Honored. And you can buy this thing. This is the PvP helmet, but it's got Strength, Armor, Crit, Resil. Resil is cool. I don't have very much of it right now, but it does reduce the chance you have to be crit, which is nice. It kind of acts like defense in that way. We socketed up with just a little bit of hit, and we went ahead and bought the Spirit Shard meta gem, which you can get from the Alarian Stronghold down here. These guys, they sell, like a tower, they sell a bunch of meta gems and stuff. We went ahead and grabbed that. I'll plop this over here too while we're talking. Pennant of Battle Lust is from Blood Furnace. This is just strength, stam, agility. We also have a couple other pieces in the next slot that I can talk about in a minute. We have the Savage Plate Shoulders. These are lower city honored, so these are the dungeons that you would do down in the Akanai. Same thing, it's just plate, so it's big armor, a little bit of crit, some stam strength. We have the Cloak of the Inciter. This is from Shadow Labyrinths. This is like my DPS cloak. It's hit, crit, attack power with some stam. Again, we're trying to keep some crit on this build. We have strength, agi stam with some defense, breastplate of the bold. This is from the last, is it the last boss? No. Yeah, I think it is the last boss of the Arcatraz, which is cool. These are just the TK dungeons. We were doing those dungeons, the Blood Elf ones up in the sky. You have to have flying for that. We were doing those because they're like a good, maybe like max level dungeon, but not quite heroic levels. So it's good to farm those. We have the Bands of Sith from Seketh Halls. These are the same sort of thing. Stam, strength, agility. We're still using my Grand Marshal's longsword. Like, the Grand Marshal gear takes you to 70 just fine. People were like, you're replacing that in your first quest in Hellfire. No, you are not. You may not be replacing it for a while. But when we do, we have the Reflex Blades, which are the very similar kind of thing. It's just a claw. Hit, attack power, stam. It'd be nice to have a sword, just because you have a little bit of extra specialization with the sword, but if we wanted to, we could put Crusader on that bad boy and start using it for a small upgrade. Platinum Shield of the Valorous. Got this from Shadow Labs. There is a shield in Botanica that I want to get, but this is what we got right now. Stam, defense. Okay, big armor. We have a Needle Strike, which is just hit and attack power. Eventually, like if you get enough hit, probably good to have stamina on your throwing weapon. You could have like stamina crit. We have a couple of those, but we're still farming, so. Adamantine Figurine, it's carrying my defense quite hard in this setup. Defense 32, armored by a ton for 20 seconds on a CD. We have the Blade Fits Breath, which was a quest reward out in Hellfire. Killing one of those demon guys gives you crit and on-use attack power. Band of the Exorcist, this is a 50 Spirit Shard purchase from the same place, Alarian Stronghold down there. Hit, crit, resil, attack power with some big stam, that works for me. Ravenclaw Band, this is hit, attack power, with some crit from agility and stam. This is from Seketh. These apparently are Abyss. We're using these for our like all three sets, I think. Sorry, Wrought Greaves. I think these are a quest reward from like Steam Vaults or something like that. Maybe. And then we're just using the Grand Marshal's like actual purchase with honor in Stormwind Grand Marshal's legs, which is fine. Just same thing. Big stam, strength, armor, crit, resil. Deathforge Girdle, Seketh Halls. These ones with sockets are really good because you can put big sockets in them and they have really good stats. I have the little dinky honor hold sockets, so there's that. But armor, strength, crit with some sockets, and then we have same thing. Strength, stam, armor, crit on the Gauntlets of the Cruel Intention, and that would be my DPS setup. So this is for the higher crit chance setup. But then if we want to go like big tank, we have this, and that changes a few things up. Now we have less hit chance, less crit chance, but 30 more defense, 6% more block chance, and that's coming from things like shield block rating, block value on my neck. We have the same thing, defense, block value on the cloak, chest piece, defense, block rating. Here we have defense, so things change a little bit. Defense, block value. The ring goes to defense, dodge. And like all of this stuff, this comes from Steam Vaults, this comes from the Mechanar, this comes from Arcatraz, this comes from Arcatraz. This is where the Arcatraz farming that we did has been good. Steam Vault here and here. So those dungeons that you get access to at like level 69 and 70, those start to give you like level 70 gear. And those are really nice to get set up for heroics. So now what we can do is show you my Fury setup for my Fury gear, which feels like not as progressed, but it's still pretty okay. Helm with a Claw. I still need I need one more run to get some Spirit Shards to put the meta gem in this thing. But we're gonna be wearing some leather for a little while. This is just what I'm looking for here is like big hit, attack power, crit, that kind of thing, and that's what we have for Helm with the Claw. Talon Lord's Collar for the hit and attack power again. We're having the Shoulder Pads of Assassination, which are literally a level 70 rogue piece that comes from Seketh. Cloak of the Insider, which we talked about. Chest Guard of No Remorse comes from Hydromancer Thespia in Steam Vault. We have the Sith. We're using both Grand Marshal weapons still. The hit thing, again, we've had the Hand of Justice back on. We could put another crit thing on if we wanted to. Rings, the same thing. It's basically a lot of things that we had in my Prot set, except for we have the Tracker's Belt, which comes from Slave Pens for more hit and crit and attack power. And then we found these. These are probably also not very expensive, though. Just huge strength, huge agility, no stam, but a bunch of hit, too. So that's what we got cooking for my Fury set. We're looking at a good amount of hit, but we also have hit coming from my talents, remember, for Fury. We have all that. A decent amount of crit, but we're also going to be in Berserker Stance, so it'll be, you know, like 20-something. And then having a Feral Druid tank is really nice when I play Fury, so you're closer to 30% crit. And you are ripping as Fury. Fury is gigadam right now. It feels really, really good. That's the gear for the moment. I want to talk about some macros for you guys. So, one of the things about Classic WoW is you're macroing like every single ability with startattack. I don't think there's anything fancy with my Fury stuff, but some of this stuff is like, we mentioned it in one of the other videos, and I'll try to make sure I drop it in this video as well, but like some of these macros that are like, the one that's kind of fancy is the charge one, where it'll charge you when you're in battle, and it'll intercept when you're in combat, which is kind of cool. Sorry, it's not about combat. It'll put you in battle and charge when you are not in combat, and it'll put you in Zerker and intercept when you are in combat. But everything else is just like, if you see a button, it's probably just whatever that skill does, puts being in the stance that it requires, and then start attack. The thing about Prot is a lot of my Prot macros are like whatever you're supposed to do and shield block. So you go D-stance and then do whatever you're supposed to do plus shield block. Like Devastate, I have start attack with Devastate in D-stance and then shield blocking. And I have that with a couple things. Then my cleave for Prot is also revenging and shield blocking and cleaving. So it's like, that's like if I have a bunch of rage, I can press that and it'll drain my rage, but it'll make sure I have shield block up all the time, which is very important. Revenge costs like no rage. It does cost a global, and cleave doesn't cost a global. So shield block is off global, cleave is off global, revenge is on global, so it can be in the macro. The big rule for macros is in Classic, start attack and make sure you only have one global in the macro, and then you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, start attack with the stance that you want to be in, and then whatever button you want to use is pretty much what I'm doing with all my macros. In terms of add-ons, we talk about add-ons periodically. We're not doing anything insane with the add-ons, but just so we can have a look through it, this will help people who are curious about add-ons. Attune is helpful. It helps you quickly find the path to attunement for like Karazhan, for example. It'll lead you through all the quests that you got to do and kind of figure things out along the way. That's nice. Auctionator is my auction add-on. That's what I use to, you know, quickly post and search things on the auction house. Chattinator is just an add-on that kind of lets you mess with your chat situation. Mixed scrolling battle text is the get shit on pop-up in PvP. DBM, I don't even know if it's working. I mean, I have it on, but I don't think I ever see any DBM pop up, so whatever. Bug grabber is for just like, hey, stuff ain't working. Do you want a big LUA error pop-up that you have to click off? No, I don't. Bug grabber and bug sack help with that. Baginator and Syndicator are kind of in the same thing. They help with, like, it's like a bag add-on. Sometimes it's kind of nice to, like, sort your bags into category groups, which I don't tend to prefer that, but sometimes it's kind of nice when you're vendoring, if you're, like, looking for stuff to vendor. Vendor the weapons, DE the armor, you know, that kind of thing. I guess I could talk about that. I'm also, quickly, I'm going blacksmithing and enchanting. Blacksmithing for crafting the epic maces, both two-hander and one-hander. Ideally, it's going to take a lot of gold. But, and then enchanting is just a gathering profession that is also a crafting profession that gives you power, because you can enchant your rings. And that's kind of nice. So that's why I have those professions. Atlas loot is what I use to check out all the loot for the various dungeons that we're in. It also has a map, which is kind of cool. You can kind of plan out your loot. There's Newt, which is cool and neat. The maps are Atlas maps. The disenchant buddy shows you what items disenchant for. So you can say whether it's like, it's likely that you're going to get more money from disenchanting versus vendoring. Kind of cool. Questy is just kind of sorting my my quest log. Dragonflight UI is a big one. Dragonflight UI does a lot of stuff. Dragonflight UI makes your character panel look different. That kind of gives you this information on the side. People like that. It makes your talents look different. Instead of having to scroll through and tab through various talents, it's just all right here. That's really nice. That obviously comes with the kind of the little unit frame and the action bars stuff. It just does a lot that makes your UI look a little bit more modern, which I do like. Blizz Move is allowing me to move all these little frames around, because I played on an ultra wide monitor and I don't want you guys to have, you know, not be able to see my stuff when it opens up. So I have this so I can just move those around. I think it's really nice to have it though, even if you're not on ultra wide maybe. Good old threat plates are my plates that I have. You know, everybody's always curious about my threat plate profile. We can probably put that in the description for you. BGE battleground enemies just shows all the enemies on the side of the screen. It's kind of like a battleground gladius. Big debuffs is what's popping up on the side of their nameplate when they're like either CC'd or popping defensive, offensive cooldowns. Capping is just a timer add-on for BG, is kind of nice. Details is what shows the DPS down there on the side. Gargle is like mostly for raid. It's like a item distribution, like soft res kind of loot for raid add-on. Item rack is an add-on that I'm using to show some of my loot stuff. It can be used to do cool stuff with your sets. It allows you to like tab or see the gear on the side here that pops out. I feel like it doesn't work right all the time, but whatever, I still have the add-on there. What else we got? Leatrix Maps makes your maps look cool. Leatrix Plus has a couple interesting things. I think it helps you like loot faster and whatnot, but it kind of changes the way your map looks. I just kind of like it. Looks cool. You guys can grab that if you want it. Nova World Buffs is useful for like layers. I mean, I think it was more important for like Classic, but I think it also is required to interact with the layering Weakaura that we have too. Omnibar will be cool for Arena. Lose Control will be cool for Arena, but I also have a Weakaura for that now. Speaking of Weakauras, we're using Weakauras. I'm using What's Training that lets you see like what's next while you're leveling and what you need to go grab and stuff. So whenever we swap back to we do have Rampage tier 3 though. Oh, when we're Prot we will. And then when we go back to Arms, we'll train all the Mortal Strike ranks. It's kind of nice to know, like, oh, do I want to go back to town to train? Is it worth it? There's that. So, and then we're using Zygor, which is also awesome to help level. So I do have a couple Weakauras. Let's see the ones that are important. I think I've put a lot of these in the description of my first TBC update video. But so these should be there for you. We have a CC replica, so it shows you the kind of CC in kind of a nice looking way. The Weakaura for the lightsaber is in there too. We have Swing Timer is this little guy. We have a Victory Rush down here that shows that. We have Execute and Overpower that show that. The Battle Shot reminders bouncing around there. Rampage, whenever we go Fury, it'll pop up down there. And then I'll put those in the description for you guys as well, if you're interested. I just need to make sure I grab some of like the new ones like Rampage and stuff. But generally, if I'm looking for a Weakaura, I would just like go on the Google and just like Rampage Weakaura and just kind of see what pops up. But I can probably try to pop those in the description for you guys for any Weakauras that we don't have. But we are live on stream right now. I did want to make a quick little rundown of my setup for you guys. I need to figure out if is there anything else that would be useful for you guys to know. I think we're probably about good to go, yeah? Just about. We went over my talents, my gear, macros a little, even though there's not like anything crazy macro wise, but the basics. Went over add-ons and we went over Weakauras. I guess, yeah, my plan is to craft the blacksmithing mace at least. Do PvP with the two-hander, I think. I probably want to craft a one-hander at some point. I'm pretty sure I'm raiding as Fury, PvPing as Arms, and tanking heroics as Prot. So like, we're gonna be busy. We're gonna be busy. But so far it's been a whole lot of fun. And if you guys are digging the TBC content, make sure you follow the stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Bajheera. Make sure you subscribe over on YouTube. And thanks for the sub, love. My big flex for you. Pump us up. Hey, more than welcome to sub to the stream too. That'd be fantastic. Yes, it won't become Storm Herald until the second raid, but we'll make Deep Thunder. That'll be fun. But yeah, so far TBC has been a blast. I'm having a really good time with it. Looking forward to Furion Dungeons Down, even though I'm enjoying tanking a lot. I'm excited to try out the Impale crit build and see if we're tanky enough for it right now. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated as time goes on, and definitely give you guys some make a video about the various arms PvP specs when that happens. But right now, we're just PvPing it, or PvEing it up right now to try to get ourselves ready. But heroic gear is decent for PvP too, so we'll keep doing it. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys show this video some love over on the YouTubes. And for us on stream, it's time to game. Time to dive in those dungeons. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you on stream. Peace.